Welcome back to the vlog. So Ash just got shoulder surgery, so she won't be playing in the dirt with me for a little bit. But so for today, we have some alpaca manure and we're going to spread it in the garden. We follow a farmstead in Bellevue, Nebraska, and they had posted about having alpaca pellets or alpaca manure, and they're selling it by the 5-gallon bucket load. So we reached out and planned a time to go and pick this up, and I think it's going to be great for our beds here. We're going to plant some peppers, like a lot of peppers and a lot of okra, which are both very heavy feeders. So we just thought, you know, giving them a little something extra would be ideal for this part of the garden. These are sunflowers, so those are also going to want extra nitrogen and really nice fertilizer for their growth. Hopefully they're really tall sunflowers. We've actually never grown them before, but I'm really excited to see what they do. Hopefully these will be really productive beds.
This is our check-in on all of our starts here. Lots of peppers, a sea of peppers. And then look at our cute little sweet potato slips. They're just growing like crazy. And here's a potato update on a couple of our experimental potatoes. And if you look here, there's little tiny calendula growing in a line. Sheila put calendula along all these little garden beds. So we're really excited to see how they come up. We actually just picked 2 of very ripe strawberries and they were delicious, but we have so many more on this little hanging plant. I'm so glad that it wants to grow this way. And if you look real close in our creeping Charlie here, we have little bumblebees buzzing around. I never thought of this plant being so important to these little guys, but it really is. They just kind of go from one to the other, and I don't think I can ever mow it again. The forget-me-nots are still doing so wonderful, and our dwarf Korean lilac is starting to bloom, and it smells so good. And if you look close here, you can see our pineapple sage is actually coming up with those little red flowers there. They look so good. And back here in our wilderness patch, you can actually see our rhubarb is doing wonderful. Look at the size of those leaves. Little stems. They're getting their color. I'm so glad that these ones haven't been eaten by the deer yet. And here's our potatoes in a box with just some soil, and it's doing great too. One of my favorite things to put in the garden is cute little wind chimes, and we have some here, we have some over there, and I even ended up hanging one all the way across in the arch over there. Our little seating area that we created over here is doing really well. The shade is starting to settle in, and so some of our shade plants are enjoying that a little bit more. And this mint is just happy as it could be. I believe it's spearmint, and it smells really, really good. Sheila actually had steeped some of it the other day, and it came out great. And this is one of the ferns that I actually traded my mom for some lily of the valley, and they are just doing great. This is the hosta tree. Look how gorgeous it looks. Oh my goodness. My father-in-law actually said that he had a problem a couple of years ago where the deer kept eating all of the hosta, like all the way to the bottom, you know, all the way to the ground. And finally they started growing back last year. And I think it's just because there was more people here, more presence. It also helped that we had dogs last year too. We actually planted this bee balm last year and it came back so much more bushy. It looks great. And over here in this little pot is arugula. We've never grown arugula before, but it looks like it's doing really, really well. And we have salvia planted around this tractor here and some yarrow, and they seem to be really, really happy. And right here is our older lilac bush. We put this one in last year. It's gotten some really pretty growth on it. Excuse the gopher beeping. We have some baby cilantro here and some other little sprouts. These are radishes. And this isn't a plant, but it is garden related. These are actually called hose guards, and it helps us keep the hose guided so that it doesn't, you know, trample over all of our plants and everything, because we have our water source right there next to that box. And when you bring it down in here, sometimes you end up crisscrossing and hurting the plants. So this year we invested in some of these cheap little hose guards, and they're round and they help the hose move from one place to the other. Here's another one of those ferns I had traded my mom, and this is our woodland phlox, and it's just doing really, really great here in this area. Our alliums are also starting to open up and bloom all over the yard, so we're really excited about that. I also have this false indigo here, and I actually thought that it had died and it wasn't going to come back, but it just grows straight from the ground, and I am so happy it came back. It was bright yellow last year. And all of this is actually echinacea that will come up later in the summer and do great things, usually bright purple. This is a tiger lily, and I've always loved the tiger lily when it blooms. And you can see right here, some of our irises are actually starting to get their color as well. Very happy about that. Sheila says that they smell like grape Kool-Aid when they bloom. This is probably one of my favorite plants. This is the lamb's ear, and it's so soft and squishy, and if my arm wasn't in a sling, I would probably be touching it right about now. But look, there's a tiny little ladybug. She likes it too. And I'm super excited to report that the lavender is doing great down here. It's kind of hard to get a good shot of that, but even my creeping phlox is starting to come back from its deer murder. See, we got some more of that lavender there. Here's a close-up of the phlox, looking good. This is our little patch of columbine. This plant actually got chewed all the way down by the deer, but it's come back with several blooms already. These are plants that we put in last year, and they have a little bit of bloom coming on them too. Even this little tiny blue one, it's struggling. It got eaten the most, but it's trying its best. This is one of our new hyssop plants, and we have another one back here. We loved how well this one was doing. We planted it last year, so we decided to invest in a second one. Then we have a bearded tongue here and one over there, and as you can see, this one's a little bit bigger than the other one, and we don't know why. I think it's two different colors. This is the catmint that we had put in last year, and we love the fact that it had blooms all season long. So we did go ahead and get another one down here, and then it's doing wonderful. And the weird thing is that these right here are lily of the valley, and they actually jumped from this bed over here up over into this bed, and we love the smell so much we're just gonna let them be. I have an astilbe back here. It's big and it turns white when it flowers. And then we have this one here, which is red, and it turns red when it flowers, obviously. This bed is like our shade flower bed. Has a bunch of beautiful lily of the valley. One thing that lily of the valley has taught me is that you can be small but still have a huge impact, because man, you can smell them from far away and they're so great. Here's a couple more of the ferns that I traded my mom. They seem like they're settling in really nice. I also bought this bleeding heart here. They are kind of squished into place, but that's because this retaining wall actually has a board that goes through the middle, and I didn't see it when I was digging holes, but they're usually pretty close-knit in other gardens too, so I'm not worried about it. And if you can see up there, we have some more of the gladiator alliums that are getting ready to bloom. They look so great. And last but not least, we have our little tulip garden here. Well, what's left of it anyways. The deer have had their way with it a few times, but we actually realized that the pink ones have multiple blooms going on. They're the only ones that have multiple blooms, but they are so beautiful and so vibrant. Oh my goodness. Do you have a favorite? Show me your tulips. And we have one lone little daffodil. The other ones haven't really bloomed yet. Oh, look, actually, that one looks like it's getting ready to bloom. Yay!
So thanks so much for watching the video, and follow along to see how the flowers grow.